Tales of Mithrym.
Den of Thieves, read by Skye Alley, Part 8, Lore Master. In the beginning, Mother Imu was jealous. She was angry because Een had given his children so many wonderful things that Imu had thought were hers, and she wanted them back. She could not take them back, though, for Een had blessed his children. Een's hammer! Are you telling us a fairy tale? The town's guard looked furious. Ducky was none too happy either. At least the children had had the decency to wait before they asked questions. That's how it starts, Ducky protested. Do you want me to tell you about them or what? And since when was Imu a mother? Came another voice. I can't say as I'm happy to have anyone talking about that fiend under my roof, cut in Miss Green. Imu has many forms, came in Archibald, adding something of a ghostly timbre as he spoke. We must guard ourselves from... What I want to know, shouted the guard, is what in Ibis's name is that? He looked over at the creature shackled and bound. What that thing is. The creature was sat cross-legged on the floor. It was dressed in rags, mismatched and patched in many places. Its hood was now down behind its back, and its head could be fully seen. The skin was a bright purple, and its ears were long and pointed. Its bald head shone in the candlelight, and its eyes, keen and focused, were a deep red. Every now and again it would bare its teeth at an onlooker and hiss. That's what I'm trying to tell you! Ducky slammed his fist down on the table. The room fell silent except for a faint snickering sound. Ducky continued. So, Imu vowed to cause trouble for the children of Een, and she became mother to all sorts of strange monsters. She made them all to look like the children of Een, or at least to what she believed the children of Een to look like. She made kobolds, goblins, and orcs. Kobolds she made to be like children, small and curious. She taught them to spy and to sneak and to cause mischief. They all looked over at the creature. This seemed to fit the bill. It could not be more than about 4 feet tall at most. The clothes it wore looked very much like they could belong to a child. Is that all you know? Asked the guard. Well, it goes on, Ducky continued. Imu sent the kobolds out among the towns and villages of the young humans, and one in particular found its way to a farm. The guard sighed. More of your fairy tales, eh? He scoffed. Hey! Ducky protested. I ain't exactly a scholar. That's right enough. But I don't see anyone else round here with anything to share. So how about you just listen? The guard threw up his arms in exasperation, then slumped down into a chair. As I was saying, Ducky continued, this kobold came to a farm where he found sheep and pigs and cows and chickens, but he was struck dumb when he saw, hopping around the fields, a hare. The kobold looked at it as it hopped and ran about and thought how wonderful it was that it had such long ears, just the same as the kobold. So, it went up to the hare and asked it its name. The hare said, I am a hare. I am fastest of all the animals. Well, the kobold couldn't stand that. I bet I'm faster, it said. Then we should have a race, said the hare. And so they did. The hare chose marshals from the farm. A pig would start the race, the sheep would watch the way to guard for cheating, and a cow would watch the finish line. The race would run all through the farmland. The guard rolled his eyes, but Ducky glowered at him and continued. So the next day, when all was set ready, they began. The pig counted them in, and the two began to race off down the track. The hare kept a steady pace, while the kobold skipped and laughed. He fell behind the hare, who was so much faster than himself. He stamped his feet with anger, then saw a cart nearby. The kobold leapt up on it and spurred on the horse that was tied to it. For kobolds' hands may have sharp claws, but they can hold things just like we can. They raced past the hare, who kept hopping along. Away down the path, the kobold stopped. Looking back, he saw the hare away in the distance. He laughed and jigged a merry dance in triumph for pulling ahead. He looked at the way ahead. The finish line was close. He knew that he could win it easily, so he sat down beside the cart and waited. He wanted to make his victory all the sweeter by beating the hare when it was close enough to see him. As he sat, though, he laughed. In time, his laugh turned to a chuckle, and his chuckle turned to a snore, for he had fallen fast asleep. When he awoke, it was 2 cheers and whooping, but not for him, for as he had slept, the hare had passed him and won the race. The kobold was so angry that he stamped and stomped the ground, and hissed an angry hiss. He kicked the cart, and then ran away back down the path. "What is the point of all of this?" broke in one of the dock workers. "Well, that you shouldn't assume you've won when you haven't actually—" Ducky trailed off. "No, I mean, what's this actually tell about?" The man pointed. "About that? Well," said Ducky, "that those hands of its have thumbs and fingers just like ours." He flexed his own hand to demonstrate. "And it's probably the one that's been stealing all your stuff." There was a gasp from the crowd, but it did not seem to be aimed at Ducky. The great man turned to look at the kobold. It was standing up now and stamping its foot. It looked annoyed. "You told all that wrong! I never lost. To think that I would lose to a hare!"
Tales of Mithrym are written by Jimmy Clephane. Mithrym is a fantasy world built for the Dungeon Room role-playing game system. To find out more about the world of Mithrym, or to try out the game, go to www.mithrym.com.